Welcome to the Epic Success Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Shannon Irvine. Okay, today is something that I have been really feeling so called to talk about and teach on the podcast. Because after coaching thousands of entrepreneurs, one thing that I've found about high performers that have big dreams, that have big visions, that are taking actions, but also start to feel like they are stuck. I mean, just that self-doubt that creeps in when things don't go the way the shiny, glossy marketing packet taught us it would. Right? We trust this system that says if you do this strategy, it'll work, and then you do everything that they say and it doesn't work. And then it leaves you kind of doubting your capacity. It leaves you still desiring the outcome, but having different questions. So today's podcast is all about getting unstuck. It's all about peeling back those blocks, those blind spots, and those obstacles that slow you down. And right now, more than ever in our lives, we need to have speed toward our goals, because in a changing economy, and really anytime, we really want to create our own economy. So today's podcast is all about that. It's how do we take control back and really understand how to identify our blind spots, our blocks, and our obstacles so that we can remove them once and for all. So we're going to be in a series all around the 67-day year method, how you train your brain to actually allow success to come in. And this is the first kind of phase of it. I talked a little bit about it last week, but I'm going to go deep dive with you today. So I hope you really like this podcast. Let me know in Instagram what your big takeaway was and tag me. All right, here we go.
Hey, everybody. I am so excited to be in the room with you today. I'm on my feet because I can't wait for today. So let me give you a little backstory. I was just praying and thinking a lot, watching what you're commenting about, seeing who's commenting, seeing what's happening. And here's what I see. I see a lot of people that aren't where they want to be yet, but you're going. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not sitting on the sidelines. You're not like in the victim place. You're not like in this. I got to take my scrunchie off my arm there. You're going. So here's the thing. I was sitting, thinking, praying, and here's what is on my heart. I deeply, deeply care that you hit your target. In fact, if you can't see it because I can't flip the camera around for you to see what I see when I'm on my calls, but one of my big goals for you is for you to surpass me. Meaning, I want you to do so well in your life, in your businesses, where I'm saying, like, what are you doing? Like, I want to see you get to that place, because when we have our vision on our people, and we care as much about them getting to the finish line as you do yourself, that's when stuff shifts in your mind. That's when stuff shifts in your mind. And I'm going to dive deep into what do I mean by a 67-day year? Because here's the thing. I care about you hitting your goals. Why do I care? Is it about the money? No. Is it about impact? Yes. But here's the thing. I know that if every one of you stepped into the version of you with the results that that version has, you're going to be changing lives, not just your life, not just the freedom in your life, not just your circumstances, but the circumstances of your clients, the circumstances of your family, your family's family, your children's children's children. You're going to change the trajectory for them. So it's important. What are you hearing in the marketplace today? What's the atmosphere in the marketplace today? What are you sensing? What are some of the emotions you're feeling when you're watching the news and your sense? So has this impacted you emotionally, mentally? Why? Because it's this atmosphere. Have you ever been in an atmosphere where there hasn't been lack. I hope this room is it. Have you ever been in the atmosphere where people believed in you, maybe even more than you did, and you leveled up? Have you ever been in the atmosphere? So when we say atmosphere is important, when we say the environment that we surround ourselves with is important. If you feel like I can be over here in this environment and I can go one way, but if I come over here and I stay in the scarcity and the fear and the conversation around recession and all of what's going to happen, I'm not going to be in the same place as I am if I'm in the environment over here. Is that true? Say true if that is true. And I'm going to be like jumping around because I can't contain the energy in my body today, because I'm going to give you 4 key pieces that I plug into my business to collapse time. Because here's the case I want to make with you today. I could come on and I can show you 100, 200, maybe 300 ways to make $10,000 in your business or more every single month, give you every single step to take. There's so many ways to monetize your business. Who has more than one course on how to make money online? Who's bought more than one? I kind of wish that like my bookshelves could have those on them, because those have made me go faster than even sometimes these have, sometimes. But here's the thing. I can show you thousands and thousands of ways to make more money. I can show you how to make a group to make money, and Instagram to make money, and funnels to make money, and live events to make. You get my point, right? There's 1,000 different ways, and you can follow those ways, and you will have the path to make money. Now, here's one thing I know about everybody on this call is I'm looking at your faces. That's not why you're doing what you're doing, is it? That's a byproduct. Of course, you want to get your family taken care of, but what you're really there for is a calling, is a deep need to make an impact in the world and people's lives, and not have somebody suffer the way you suffered, or let people have a faster path to feeling better, to having a better situation than you did. If that's you, if you're like, yeah, or you could write money. So if you're only in business just to make money, you could care less about the people that you're serving, you could write that. I doubt you're in this room. I would have bothered the heck out of you by now, but I mean, right? I would have bothered you, but see all those yeses. But here's what I want you to lean in with me. If I can show you 1,000 different paths to make money, but I can't help you get yesterday back. Can anybody know a method to get the last 24 hours back? So is money what we're after, or is it really time? Is it really seeing the vision we have behind our eyes in real life, or IRL, as my teenager puts it, faster? Who wants to go faster? Who's like, you know what, this pace that I'm on, I am so sick of the quicksand. Isn't that what it feels like? Like, as I'm reading your comments and some of the things, this is the sense I get. It's not that you're sitting down. You're not like down here. You're trying, you're doing the things, but it's almost like a little bit of quicksand on the feet, right? Like you take a step forward and it kind of boomerangs you back, and it takes a step forward. Anybody? Is this any? Okay, these 4 key pieces I want to talk about. My whole focus is to collapse time for you. My whole focus is to take a year's worth of goals that you set in January and help you collapse that into 67 days. So question, who here has accomplished every single thing that you put in your book that looks so pretty with all of the breakout and the SMART goals and the things? Who's hit 100%? Who's exceeded them? What? Well, wait a minute. But that's what we're supposed to do, right? Like, we write down the goals, plus we work hard, and that equals success. Isn't that what everybody says? Yes? Well, wait a minute. I'm confused, because here's the thing. I'm a little biased. I know. It's kind of like when you talk about your kids, you're a little biased, but there's good reason. The smartest people are in this room. You guys are wicked smart, right? You're the ones that wanted to learn the brain science of how to create success. You're the ones that wanted to get certified as a coach so that you know brain-based transformation. You're smarties, okay? So here's the thing. If I have the smartest group in the room and the formula of set goals plus work hard doesn't equal success, then something's broken. And it isn't you. But that system, that old industrial age ideal on how to create accomplishment just might not be what collapses time, what makes things go fast. Who's subscribed to that formula? I write my goals. I hustle my little booty off. I work harder than everybody else. Yeah, maybe I have my moments. I have my, oh my gosh, it's not working. Let me go pull the rip plug for a month and then I come back, but I'm still going. All right, so here's the thing. It's not because what you're doing is broken. It's the path that you're on that is broken. And a lot of times people will go through epic success and they'll go through the neurocoaching certification, or we don't go all the way through, right? So that 67 days happens. I want to talk about what's going on. Like, why isn't it working? What type of goals do you set if this whole January set all the goals the way all the gurus tell you to do it, plus hard work doesn't equal success? What does? So we want to talk about that today. What's the relevance of 67? And how on God's earth are you able to take a year's worth of goals and accomplish them in a quarter of the time? So we're going to talk about that, a little bit of the science, a little bit of the scripture for those of you that resonates with. But we're going to talk about that time quotient because, like I said, at the end of the day, my dear friend Amy Porterfield's launching right now. Okay, I'm sending out some emails for her. If you're thinking about creating a course, get in that. Okay, that's how I created my course. I'm just going to be real. Okay, so I'll get you a link. We'll get you deals, all that stuff. There's a million ways to make money. But there's no more important thing than taking what would take a year and speeding up time. Because here's the thing. If you focus on what people are telling you, which you talked about in the beginning, the fear, the recession, what if I said through this process, you could create your own economy? You could create your own economy. You could mute the news, no matter what's going on. And you could create your own economy. You can opt out of the fear. You could opt out of the narrative, whatever it is, from whatever side. Because please hear me, the closer we get to November, the louder it's gonna get. So I'm gonna have a real serious question for you right now. Why isn't it working? Permission to get a little serious right now. Is that permission granted? I need your permission, because otherwise I could stay really motivational, but we're not going to move the needle. And you know, in this community, I don't mind if you throw a shoe at me, as long as we get to move the needle together, right? As long as the blind spot gets kicked out, right? As long as we get that momentum going. So what are the things that you're saying? What are you saying to yourself mid-year when you're looking back at the goals and it hasn't happened yet? Are you shrinking your goals? Are you saying, well, I'm not sure I can accomplish that, so maybe I'll adjust them a little bit so that I feel good at the end of the year? If that's you, shifting priorities or adjust, or yeah, it's my fault, right? What are you saying to yourself? Let's get it out on the table. Everybody here is saying something to yourself about why you're not where you want to be. What is that? What is that? Because again, we could play typical high performers, right? But you're like, we're high performers, so we're moving forward and we're like swatting at the obvious things that are taking us out. Like somehow swatting them behind us means they won't circle back around and cut us at the knees, but they will. Wow. Why is this happening again? I must be doing something wrong. This makes me want to cry. Are the people that should be on the biggest platforms across this globe that have the biggest hearts and the biggest impact and the biggest ability to serve other people. So you can see these are default blocks. It's I'm going to tell a kind of gross story, but bear with me here. Okay. So my husband has been reading this book on a guy who was with a prisoner of war camp, right? And what they were doing was each day they would come in and ask them if they would talk. And they would say no. And they would cut them right across the chest. An hour later, they would come back in and say, are you ready to talk? And they'd say no, and they'd cut them on the chest. And then 2 hours later, they come in, are you ready yet? Bleeding, right? No, cut them on the chest. This goes on for days and days and days. And this particular prisoner of war camp had a trophy wall up. And the statement above it was they were tallying the people who died from a death of 1,000 cuts. That's horrible. And I know the people that you are meant and destined to impact. I know the people that you are called to make a difference in. Learning to collapse this, learning this process in a deep level so that these stories never keep you from reaching the amount of people that are suffering right now in their own version of death by 1,000 cuts, because you are not there yet. And I know that's strong language. I hope you can forgive me if I offended any of you, but here's the thing. I do think the time is now. I do think there's an urgency to you getting to your highest and best, not necessarily for you, although it benefits you, but for the people that will never get set free unless you step in and intervene. So when I see goals and the things not hitting it yet, I see people waiting for their breakthrough, waiting to be able to know who you are. Because here's the thing, and you guys have heard me say this probably so many times, 99%, all beautiful colors represented, 99% DNA same. What? How is that possible? What? But that 1%, y'all, that 1%, nobody else has duplicated. I think that is so cool of God to say, and your 1% is only yours. Do you see there's no sense in competition? We're looking at people saying, I want what you have, and I'm jealous that you got this. When in reality, God's looking at you and going, but your 1% is meant to get out to the world. They don't have your 1%. It doesn't matter what stage they have. What matters is that you move your stage. Write that down. It doesn't matter what stage they have. What matters is have you moved your stage? Has your 1 become 2? Has your 2 become 4? Has your 4 become 8? As you know, why it's not working is these subconscious blocks, these automations, these stories that you were able to write so fast without thinking, they pull the brake on speed. It's not that you're not taking action. This is what I want you to hear. It's not that you're not taking action, but it's like pumping a brake at the same time. So this thing that slows you down, if we were able to take that story off the table, completely gone, erased like you've never seen it before, don't recognize it, never met you before in my life, do you think you'd go faster? If you didn't have that conversation of this again, why can't I? Why isn't it? Do you think you'd go faster? Well, and answer this. Why do you think you would go faster? I'm going to go deep with you. I want to go deep with you. Why do you think, if that story, that blind spot that you didn't call a blind spot before today, if it was plucked off the planet, why do you think you would go faster? I want to challenge your thinking here in a good way. So I can put the cutest Instagram quote up that says, stop stopping. And your inner spirit says, yep, Yep, I know. The self-doubt would be history. You'd stop operating from scarcity and lack. See, so are you recognizing something? That this thing that we're chasing the 1,000 different ways when there's only one thing that's stopping you. Now, I'm going to break down the 67-day plan, how you do it, all the hows and whys and whats. Okay. But I don't want to go into that with this same brake pressed, right? Does that make sense? Because if you still have this brake pressed, then any plan will go slowly. Then any plan will get as far as you have evidence that it will work. And the second you pass the evidence mark that it will work, that's when that fires, right? Who's scared to do what you've already done? Where we start hitting this block and this blind spot is when we step over that threshold of I've never been here. I don't. What do you say to yourself? I don't what? When you step your foot over a place you've never been before, you say, I don't know what? What don't you know? I don't know enough. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how. I'm going to really resist. We're taking a hard left. But you were never taught in school to trust that still small voice. You were never taught the skills to cultivate and trust your intuition. By the way, that same voice that said, start a business. That's that same voice. You know, the one that wouldn't let you stop when you were working 9 to 5, doing your thing, getting more annoyed with it every single day. Or maybe you're still working your 9 to 5 and you're like working on the side thing and you're like, I want it to go. And why? It's not letting you go. Why not? That's your intuition. That's your intuition. But yet, there's millions of words for that, right? There's millions of words for that. But you were taught in school the exact response that you had. When I've not been somewhere before, I don't know the answer. Please tell me what to do. I hope that hits you like a ton of bricks. The environment, remember, that you were in took that intuition, that voice, and you've heard me say it a million times, but you knew you needed to go pee and you still had to raise your hands to get permission to do the thing you knew you needed to do. Now, teachers, if you're out there, I know, chaos, got to do some order, I get it, but it really beat out of us that part of us that says, yeah, I know I haven't been here before, but wow, I think I should do this. And then what do? Oh, I don't see anybody else doing it. Oh my gosh, like, I'm not sure. I've never been, maybe that's the wrong way to do it. Anybody? Here's what I want you to realize. You actually still have the voice that's telling you the way to walk in, that's giving you the ideas, it's helping you see the suffering, that's called you through your whole life and all your experiences for such a time as this. For such a time as this. Yet we hear the voice and we tell ourselves we don't know. So one of the things that I want to talk about is one of the formulas for speed in accomplishing the things that you want. And by the way, I know not everybody on here is like, I'm driving for a business result. Some of you might be driving for a health result. Some of you might be striving for an emotional result. But regardless, the process is the same. Desired result plus action plus intuition equals results. And not just results, results that light your soul on fire, results that have you bouncing out of your bed in the morning going, thank you, Jesus, for another day. The ones that have you feel like, oh my gosh, I get to do this. Shh, don't tell anybody. I would do it for free. This is amazing. Who wants that? Who wants those kind of level results where you wake up and you're like, I can't freaking believe that this is my life. And I'm going to put forward to you a map. We're going to go through this map, but I need this declaration of, number one, I'm going to start to listen to the voice I was given from my 1%. because you're listening to the voice of someone with their 1%. So guess what they're going to guide you to do? Their 1%. When I realized that, and it's scary, guys. I'm not going to say you're going to be all empowered. No. That's going to take some reps. That's going to take some reps before you feel empowered that voice, because guess what? That voice, you're going to do something sometime and it's going to feel like the results aren't there. And then what do? Slam the door, go back to what somebody else's 1% is saying. That's why in my business, a million times I was coached, because we certify coaches. Oh, just go all in on the coaching thing. And by the way, we do in the certification. And I teach people to really get free lives with their coaching business. But all my mentors wanted me to create how to get up your first 100 leads and how to do this and how to do that, all the how-tos. How can I, when I know that this room is out there before we knew each other, right? And I knew your blind spots were slamming your foot on the brake, and I had a solution because it set me free. Well, Jesus set me free, but the neurocoach model set me free from the brakes, remove the chains. Now, that doesn't mean I don't fail, y'all. I do. I just trust when I fail, it's information. And when I succeed, it's revelation. When I fail, it's just more information, and I keep moving toward that intuition, and then revelation happens and you get to impact lives that way.
Right? Mind blown. I cannot wait to hear how this particular podcast impacted you, because I know if you really take what you heard today and apply it, everything starts to shift. And the dreams, the visions, the goals that you have, that you feel like have been kind of an open loop and haven't been going as fast as you want, starts picking up speed. Now, next week, I'm going to be diving deeper into the 67-day method. What is it? How do you apply it? How the old broken industrial era goal setting plus hard work equals success is why it's the tool that is broken that you've been using. And I'm going to give you a different, modern, new, updated tool so that you can gain that traction, that momentum, and that speed towards your goal. All right, that's what I have for you this week. I can't wait to be back with you next week on the Epic Success Podcast. Bye for now.